What's going on, guys? It is your boy Junior from PNP Customs coming back at you with another video. We're going to start off this video with a huge shout out to my guy Eddie. He's been here to the shop 3 times already. Every single time something new comes out for the Toyota RAV4, he's one of the first people to get it done. He's like, yo, Junior, you can film a video on my car, display your work and your merchandise. So, I mean, he's just been a great guy overall. In a funny way, you can say that this car is kind of like our guinea pig. Every single time something new comes out, this car is the first to have it. And of course, we make him sign waivers and agreements just in case the car blows up. We have nothing. I'm just kidding. No, but he's been a very great guy overall. So with all that stuff out of the way, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing a radio upgrade and a digital climate control conversion. But that you guys will see in the next video. This video is mainly just the installation and the showcasing of the 12.3 Android video that I have available for the 2019 to 2025 Toyota RAV4. All plug and play, bolt on, no custom stuff needed. Alright, so let's talk about the radio that he has on right now. Of course, it's aftermarket. This is not the original radio. What we have here is an Alpine Halo, I think it's called. Now, we can all agree that this is not aesthetically pleasing. So this radio upgrade is not only going to be about convenience, but also giving him a better look to his vehicle. A quick rundown on how to remove your factory radio. It's kind of the same process that we have on this Alpine, so I can just go over it real quickly. So we have this plastic piece that you have to pry off. You can see it's just clips, no screws needed. And the original radio, or this Halo Alpine, is also the same thing. So it's held in with 4 10mm screws. After you got those 4 out of the way, the radio is held in with 2 clips on each side. You pull on this side, then you pull on the other side, and now the radio is free. I recommend you guys to get some kind of microfiber cloth or some kind of towel. That way you can easily unplug all of the harnesses that are behind the factory radio. As I mentioned, this guy has an aftermarket radio, so I unfortunately can't show you guys how to remove the factory harnesses, but that's nothing hard. I'm pretty sure everyone can figure that out. So let me go ahead and clean this up. So upon removing this Alpine Halo radio, I can see that there was a lot of hardwiring done to the original harness. This is due to the fact that this client, he's very handsy with his work. He installed his own remote starter. He installed his own music system. But these RCAs and these wires here are from the music system that he has. So I will have to alter my aftermarket harness in order to recuperate his music system. But that's not something you guys have to do. You guys know all you guys have to do is just mess with the factory harnesses. But in this case, I will do some extra stuff. I'm not going to show you guys that extra stuff because I don't want to confuse you guys. My 12.3 comes with a microphone, but since this Alpine already had one that's run, I can just use the one that he already ran. So it has a protective film over it, but this is the radio I am offering the client. This is the 12.3 Android radio that comes with the plug-and-play harness and the bolt-on kit. That way you don't have to do any custom work. Everything is made to be user-friendly, and on top of that, I'm even making you guys this video, so it's going to be even easier on top of that. So you guys can even copy everything I'm going to do in this video. So in one of your bags, you're going to have the main harness. Go ahead and bring this into the vehicle. Now, each vehicle is different, so I send you multiple harnesses. That way we don't get it wrong. Now, most likely you will get 2 depending on what year and package you have. So we have the factory harness right here. There are going to be 4 to 5 plugs that you're going to look into. Every factory plug here is uniquely shaped, so it's hard to get it wrong. So as long as you take your time, you match it up, and it's even color matched. You can see which plug goes where. If it's not plugging in, then it doesn't belong there. And you can see this is the main harness right here. And then, of course, this is the label of the harness that I used for the 2019 RAV4. The main power plug, of course. Do not be afraid if you see that there are some plugs that are not used. See these plugs right here? This is normal, so don't even worry about it. Just make sure that all the plugs that you have on the aftermarket harness, just make sure that those are plugged in. Don't worry about the factory ones. Alright, so onto the other harnesses. You have this original USB adapter. This is going to recuperate the USB that you have there at the bottom by the cigarette port. That's going to plug into this gray one right here. So let me go ahead and plug that in off camera. When you push them into each other, you'll hear it click. That's a good sound. It means that there's great connection. So we're done with that. This CAN bus box usually comes by itself in a bag. Just make sure to plug this into the main harness. This little box here is in charge of all of those important features like car settings, steering wheel controls, reverse trigger. All that stuff is done by this little box. Just make sure when you push it in, you hear that click and you can tug on it to make sure it's great connection. Alright, so we're all done with the main harnesses. Now we can head on to the accessory harnesses. First off, I'm going to tell you guys to throw this aside. You're not going to use this 4-pin USB connector just because the 4-pin belongs to the original USB adapter. So, of course, we prefer to have the original one rather than this extra one. So, do not use this. Now we're going to go on to the GPS antenna. It comes with a protective lining protecting the double-sided tape. So, peel that off and you're going to stick this somewhere where it has a nice and flat surface. You have a lot of that behind the radio, by the way. So, you just got to stick it very deep inside. and people say that you have to stick this somewhere like outside that's not like in the dash. That's very wrong, because it goes through leather, it goes through hard plastic, and it goes through window. Now you can have it outside, but that's not really going to affect you getting more signal, just because it already sees through all this stuff well. If there's metal above the GPS antenna, then yes, you're going to have some problems, but there's no metal here. We're going to repeat the same process for the 4G antenna. That's going to be that rectangular one. Peel the protective lining on, put it somewhere flat facing upwards, and we're all done with those two. Now we're going to talk about the 6-pin USB. So this one you also don't have to install, but I like to install it just so my clients have like an extra charging station, or even if you have like a USB full of music and video, you can still use a factory one because you recuperate it with the original USB adapter. But this one's just an extra. So you run that through the glove compartment towards behind the radio, and it'll look like this. See that? There's like a huge gap between the glove compartment and the radio, so you can just stick your one hand, feed it through, and then with the other hand feed it through the hole of the radio, and you're all set. And I'm very clumsy. I messed up here. I put the glove compartment back, but the SIM card, you kind of have to run it the same way. So you can see I removed it again. So I'm going to do it again. Run the SIM card towards the glove compartment. You can see now that these are out of sight, out of mind, but they're still very accessible. So if you ever want to put a SIM card in there or have someone else charging their phone, you can. Then you have this connector right here. You can just plug it into the radio. This connector has a yellow female. That's where you're going to plug in the factory backup camera, the RCA that comes out of the main harness. Those two are going to meet together. All right, now we're almost done. Now we have to set up the bolt-on kit that we give you. So this is like a 3D printed plastic that's going to pretty much make the radio fit in nice and snug and be sturdy. So we have the original ones here and we have the aftermarket ones. So we have to transfer all these clips, pull them out, and put them onto the new 3D printed brand new kit that we give you. So I'm going to show you what that looks like once you're done. Boom, there you go, almost done. It looks pretty similar to the original one, but it has slightly different curvatures in the body type. This is going to help the 12.3 to fit nice and tight, nice and snug. That way when you tap on it, it doesn't like swing around or fall off. And it even has 2 holes for the 2 10mm. Well, you had 4 originally. You're only going to use 2 to hold in this bracket. Once you got that all set up, what we're going to do is we're going to click it onto the actual radio. So if you look at the radio itself, you can click the bracket by sliding it upwards. After you slide it upwards and you hear it click, you can test and you can pull on it to make sure it's nice and sturdy. That way it doesn't fall off while you're driving. And voila, ladies and gentlemen, we are all done. All we have to do is just bring this into the vehicle and plug it in. As you can see, every single female, every single plug here is uniquely shaped. So it's hard to plug in the wrong one. Hope you guys still have that towel laid down. That way you can do this with ease. So you can see all of the different males that we have to plug in. It may look a little complicated right now, but trust me, it is not. Like I said, everything is uniquely shaped. So you have big ones, small ones, different pin numbers. Now, as mentioned, this guy has 2 remote wires here, an RCA, and also he ran the speakers from the aftermarket amplifier towards the Alpine harness. So I kind of have to do the same thing here. We have to cut my harness in order to make his music system work the way he wants it to. So obviously I can't show you guys that because it's going to make it more complicated. For you guys, like I said, just plug in everything where it's meant to be. If it doesn't push in properly, or if it's not going in, then it just means that it doesn't belong there. Just look closely and you'll find where everything goes. With a little patience and dedication, you can see where everything goes. Of course, don't forget about this CAN bus harness. This little plug here usually gets lost inside the main harness. You got to pull it out, and this is going to plug into the back of the radio. This green female all the way towards the side, that's going to be your antenna FM. So go ahead and stick that in there, just as I did. As I said, don't freak out to see that you're missing a plug. Usually means that there's nothing meant to go there, just like this one all the way towards the end, the one I'm pointing at. Nothing plugs into here, so don't be afraid thinking that you're missing a harness. All right, now talking about recuperating the original backup camera. This is the yellow RCA female that I told you guys before, and this is the yellow backup camera that comes out of the main harness. You're going to plug these two together, and just by doing that, boom, it automatically recuperates your backup camera. That's simple. Now, all that's left for me to do is to plug in the 4G and the GPS antennas. What you do is that these are like little nuts. You kind of have to like screw it in. So hopefully you don't have fat fingers like me. I struggle a little bit with that. Now my radio comes with an integrated DSP, digital processor, and an equalizer. So what this means that it already has your front, your rears, and your subwoofers. So if you wanted to put an aftermarket music system, you can. I can't do it in this scenario just because the way the client set up his music system, I have to wire it directly to my harness. After you plug everything in, you want to push all that wiring inside and troubleshoot your vehicle before you screw anything in. Quite rare occurrence. I'm happy that it happened to me, but sometimes when you install this radio, it may be that you're unlucky and the backup camera looks a little odd. That's no big issue. Everything here is settings. So what happens now is that you have to tap on the screen while in reverse, hit settings. Now go to the camera tab. Right now it's in AHD. We don't want it in AHD. We want it in NTSC. That's the factory backup camera signal. Right now you can see it's upside down. I'll also help you out on fixing that. All right, so now we're gonna head into the car settings of the vehicle, and you're gonna head into the reverse tab. There's gonna be a switch that says up and down mirror image. Go ahead and flip that off, and now when you reverse, boom, it's all done. After everything is working properly and you troubleshooted it, making sure that you don't have to remove the radio again if it's missing something, or maybe something wasn't plugged in right, you can now finalize the installation by screwing in those two 10mm and clicking in this top piece to not have a huge gap behind the radio. There you go. It's giving it that OEM finish. So simple, so easy to install. Let's head into the best part of the video, the showcase. Man, it just makes the interior look so much more modern. And then you have the digital climate control over there at the bottom. Don't worry, you guys will see that in the next video. But this is the 12.3 Android radio that I have for you guys in the 2019 to 2024 Rav4s. We have you guys saw the original radio FM there, so you can still mess with your channels. These are all the pre-downloaded apps that it comes with. Check all of that stuff out. It comes with YouTube, comes with the Play Store. You can even download some more stuff on there like Amazon. I think you can download TikTok. I know you can download Netflix. So all that stuff is already pre-downloaded. I already gave it some Wi-Fi, specifically the business's Wi-Fi, and now I can play some music. I can play a YouTube video. Let's play one that already has like some kind of moving image, just because this one, I think it's just like a cover art. There you go. This one's much more better. So you can see the beautiful color of the radio. And of course, the steering wheel controls are working. I can't let you guys hear too much of the music just because I'll get copyrighted. But you guys get the idea. So you can pretty much put it in full screen. Check that out. And you can see how responsive the radio is. You click on something and you don't have to wait 2 or 3 seconds for it to load, buffer, and register the click. No, as soon as you click on it, it automatically does it. And you guys saw that we already recuperated the backup camera. That looks nice. It pretty much implements the resolutions to a widescreen, so it doesn't look stretched out. It still looks normal, you know. You guys already know that I have wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto built into this radio. It's going to be that app that's called T-Link. So what you do is you connect your phone through Bluetooth and the radio automatically pairs. And with that, you don't have an ugly USB coming out of your dash anymore. So now you can control your music, you can control your addresses, you can control your apps. Steering wheel controls also work here as well. But this is you guys know what this is. It's the same thing for Apple CarPlay. It just looks a little different. Then we have the beautiful Accurate TL. You guys know I got to give my car a shout out every time it comes out. But whatever kind of apps you have on your phone, it pretty much implements all that stuff on the radio. But that's pretty much like just a tiny bit of showcase for this radio. It can do so much more. The way I always tell my clients to think of it as is that you pretty much bought a phone for your vehicle. So it can do everything that your phone can. That's why it comes with an Android system. So you can download stuff, you can mess with stuff. It has settings, preferences, themes. All that stuff is built into the radio, so you can mess with it just kind of like a phone. And then with that, it recuperates everything, your original radio FM. If you like to listen to your radio FM in the morning, you can still do that while you're driving to work. All that stuff is there. And then some people tend to ask me, Junior, I have a hybrid. Junior, I have special car settings. None of that stuff is lost. So here we have the fuel economy. All that stuff is on data. Same thing with the car settings. That's also built into the radio. So if I hit car settings, we can read some of these out. Language, air conditioning linkage, outside air circulation, link settings, radar settings, vehicle configuration, tire pressure. Tire pressure is also there. More of car settings. So, I mean, I'm not going to read all of them, but it pretty much just shows you that with CAN bus, it recuperates everything. So everything that your original radio had, it's going to be on the new radio as well. It may look a little different. It may not look like the original one did. But because you're changing the whole radio, the whole system, it's going to look a little different, but it's still going to be there. You don't lose anything. And then, of course, you have the integrated DSP that I was mentioning for your music systems. You can buy this radio and connect it to your amps and mess with your trebles, your highs, your lows, your bass, all that stuff, the zone, the fader. So this radio pretty much comes in built with everything, recuperating everything. giving your vehicle a more modern look. You guys saw the video he had before. The Alpine, although it does have very good audio quality, this one also does as well. And it gives you that OEM look. So it doesn't pop out. It doesn't look, you know, not so aesthetically pleasing. This radio will be posted on my website. So if you guys like this little showcase of the radio, you guys can definitely buy it. And now we have two options for you guys. We have this 12.3, and of course that my last video of the Rav4 13.3. That radio blew up, and a lot of people are loving that radio. I got a lot of mixed opinions. But at the end of the day, if the client wants a big radio, he can have a big radio, or he can have this. Up next, stay tuned. We're going to be showcasing that digital climate control. You guys know we do it best.